Two men were out hiking in the Scottish countryside in spring 2016 when they were stopped in their tracks by an eerie outburst. That's because the muffled sound resembled the distressed cries of an animal, and when they followed the wailing noise to its source, the pair were disquieted to indeed discover a terrified creature trapped underground. It's fair to say, though, that Scotland's spectacular scenery is famous across the world. Each year, in fact, about 2.5 million people arrive from overseas to soak up the small country's natural beauty. And the more than 5 million people who live in the nation are lucky enough to have these lovely landscapes on their doorsteps. Loki MacLeod and his friend Charlie were just two such individuals who could enjoy the countryside near their homes in the Glasgow area. And on one occasion in 2016, they did just that. But as the pair admired the beauty of their surroundings on that jaunt, something pulled them up short. Although they could not see anything untoward on the moorland, they could certainly hear something unusual. Intrigued, the two men decided to follow the eerie sound, and as they did so, their ears led them to a small jagged crack in the rough ground. As they stood above it, moreover, the pair heard the distressing cries once more, and the noise seemed to be coming from under the earth. Consequently, Charlie got down to his knees and put his ear close to the crevice. Meanwhile, Loki pulled out his smartphone and began to film what was unfolding, and in the footage, it appears that Charlie has spotted something down the cranny. As a result, he begins to pull tufts of grass away from the opening in order to get a better look. Realizing what his friend has seen, Loki tells him, "You'll not get that out of there." However, the determined Charlie carries on regardless. He shouts, "Come on," to the unseen creature in an attempt to encourage his elusive quarry out of the hole. And as these words leave the Scotsman's mouth, another cry can clearly be heard on the film's soundtrack. At this point, we see Charlie on all fours reaching his hand down the fissure to grab at something below ground. Carefully, he then begins to prise it up onto the moor by the scruff of the neck. And as he does so, Loki's footage shows a fluffy white, albeit dirty and distressed, creature emerging from the darkness. But as Charlie eventually wiggles the woolly object free, it becomes clear that the source of the pathetic cries is a little lamb. The animal's rescuers can hardly believe what they have uncovered, and as they eye the creature up and down, neither of the hikers can hold back hysterical laughter of disbelief. "Well done, mate, well done," cameraman Loki can be heard congratulating Charlie. "Take it home," the younger man jokes. Meanwhile, the shocked animal rescuer holds the lamb up to the camera as if to show off his discovery to the world. As he rises to his feet, moreover, Charlie laughingly complains that he is covered in excrement for his troubles. Then, later in the video, Charlie is seen trying to place the lamb onto its feet. However, as he does so, he notices something, and he subsequently tells Loki that the lamb is a newborn. Charlie then holds the animal aloft so that Loki's camera can see the portion of umbilical cord still attached to it. And after discovering the lamb's tender age, the two hikers can't help but feel even more sorry for the poor baby. "How long it's been down there, man?" Loki wonders out loud in the clip. "Can it walk, Charlie?" he adds, clearly worried about the abandoned animal's well-being. However, Charlie is too preoccupied to answer. In a field across from where he has just rescued the lamb, he has seen an adult sheep. So, while making encouraging baa noises to the baby lamb, he begins to wander over to the road at the side of the field. Charlie repeats his baa'ing to attract the sheep's attention in an attempt to alert it to the youngster's presence. But as the man approaches with the lamb, the sheep makes no effort to move. Bearing in mind that they are on isolated moorland, though, Charlie knows that engaging the adult is still his best chance of saving the young animal. As a result, we see the hiker cross the road and lay the baby down just a few yards from the sheep. Nothing happens in the next few seconds of footage, but then, after some nervous moments and a little more encouragement from Charlie, the lamb finally finds its feet. The newborn stands up and starts edging its way towards the waiting sheep, and what Loki finds himself filming astounds him. "Look at that," we hear him mutter, unable to disguise his amazement. After that, the young man's footage comes to a frustratingly abrupt end. But nevertheless, Loki seemingly felt that his animal interest video was too good not to share. So in May 2016, he posted his recording of the lamb rescue on his YouTube channel, and in no time at all, the 2.5-minute clip had clocked up more than 83,000 views. "Me and my friend were out for a walk in the countryside in Glasgow, Scotland," Loki explained in a comment accompanying the footage of the animal rescue adventure. "We heard a noise, so we went over to the crack in the ground, and, well, the rest is in the video." Despite the two hikers' modesty, people inundated them with admiring comments under the YouTube post. However, the abrupt nature of the video's ending disappointed some viewers. Consequently, they appealed to Loki to fill them in on what had happened to the little lamb after he had switched his camera off. "Well done for rescuing him," read one such comment, "but I wish you had shown it reunited with its mother, or at least the sheep in the distance. Did he manage to reach his buddies?" the curious user inquired. Another YouTube user had a joking response to that question, saying that perhaps Loki and Charlie decided they fancied some lamb shanks for dinner. Happily, though, it wasn't too long before the inquisitive viewer received a proper answer. Indeed, cameraman Loki later returned to YouTube to answer his anxious fans' queries about the eventual fate of the lamb after the camera stopped rolling. But sadly, Loki's post was far from elaborate. "As far as we know, the lamb is fine and back with its mother," was Loki's brief response. So those worried about the lamb simply had to take his word for it. Having said that, the YouTube users could rest assured that the two hiking heroes had done all they could for the baby animal. Hopefully then, the hapless lamb is back with the flock and has learned to step nimbly around any large cracks in the ground.